I don't know how well I prepared for this. This is so new for me. I've been a member with the writers group just for a year. And my book is a memoir. It chronicles my experiences during the Second World War. I was born in Germany and lived in Pomerania on a little farm in a little farming village. And Pomerania is or was, I should say, the eastern province of Germany bordering on Poland. And now I am describing in my book the invasion of the Russian forces in January 1945. The Russians came with full force, and they were killing and they were brutally treating the people, and they got all the young men and young boys put into camps and transported them to Russia. And then they got after women and girls, and I was a teenager at that time, and I was also put in a camp, in a Russian camp, with the intent to be shipped to Russia for work. And after the end, I could talk and talk about this whole thing that happened in the camp. I was in there for many months until the winter, until the barracks we were in, they weren't heated and they couldn't keep us any longer, but they never sent us to Russia. And the end of the war came, and I think that was part of it, that the women weren't sent to Russia. And then after the end of the war, the Pomerania and Silesia, which is the more southern province, these two provinces were given to Poland, and millions of German people were expelled and had to find a home, and most people didn't know where to go. And so I lost my father, who never came back from Russia. I lost my home, and I lost my homeland. I think I was lucky to, later on, 10 years later, I immigrated to this country. And my children now are grown up, and I thought it was time for them to learn a little bit about the history of my history and also their heritage. And about 10 years ago, I started to jot down incidences and little memories, and gradually it evolved to my story. And I will just read a page. And this was in January 1945, when we were waiting with the Russian invasion was near. We could already hear the shooting and the bombing and all that. And so winter held us in a tight grip, and even a clear sunny day now and then didn't change the bitter cold temperatures. The new year brought more apprehension, worries, and fear. We knew by now that it would only be a matter of days, perhaps hours, before the Russian forces would come. Nobody could tell us how much time we had left. Communication had come to a standstill. Newspapers stopped before Christmas, but the radio lasted a little longer. People didn't dare leave home. Families wanted to stay together. By now, most farmers had a wagon ready in the barn. Father had prepared one too. Krista and I packed a suitcase with our best clothes, pictures, and things that were dear to us. Silently, more snow fell, and added layer upon layer to what had fallen a week ago. A white blanket covered field and roads. How we wished it would protect us from what was to come. The narrow cobblestone road to Pyrrhus had to be kept open. It was our connection to the main road. The men in the village had decided to shovel the road by hand in addition to the plowing with horses. Every morning a group of them, the shovels over their shoulders, headed out to the road. The snow had always been welcome. It was the great protector of the fields and the seeds that had been planted in the fall. But now snow was the enemy, hampering the movement of soldiers and the many refugees who were heading to safer areas. Father worried about the foreign help. For them, the day of reckoning was approaching. The Russians were their liberators. No one knew how many of the help craved revenge, especially the men who felt they hadn't been treated right. Father questioned himself whether he had been kind enough to our help. He knew their retribution would mean his death. I think I'll stop here.